Chalo. In this recording, we are going to discuss the entire chapter 8. Very important chapter 8. Why? There are multiple essays. How many essays are there? There are 7 essays. Why 7 essays? 700, 705, 701, 3, 706, 4, 710, 5, 600, 299. Total 7 essays. And one more important part. What is that? Karo. Taken a Karo. Every attempt Karo le one question will come in the examination. You do ulta dance, one question will come from Karo. You do ulta dance, you see Sida dance, one question is going to come from Karo. Very simple, 21 clauses, please do it. Taken up. And from the rest 7 essays, take a normal thing. Out of 7, if they can even test 3, minimum they will test 3. Minimum at least they will test 3 out of 7. Yeah, come on. So 3, and the minimum weightage for each of the essay question is 4 marks. Your paper pattern is 5, 5, 4. So 3 4s are 12, and one question from Karo. 12 plus 4. 16 marks to minimum is going to come from this chapter. Take it. Minimum 12. Minimum 12 will come. No. For 12 marks, we can take a risk no of this chapter. Correct. And it is easy. It is practical. Take it. Let's start. First essay is going to be essay 700. What is 700 talking about? Forming an opinion and reporting on the FS. The most important is in this we also talk about the form and content of the report. That means the entire report ka form. Have you ever seen an auditor's report? Did I show it in my first class? How does that report look? There'll be heading independent auditor's report. Then there'll be an addressee to the members of this particular company. Then all those sections, paragraphs, heading. All are same only. Section, paragraph, heading. All three means the same. Opinion, basis for opinion, key audit matters, OM paragraph, material related to material uncertainty related to going concern, auditor's responsibility, management responsibility. Correct or not? Yeah. So directly come over here. What is the objective of an auditor? You are going to mark this objective. Basic objective. First, he has to form an opinion, and ultimately has to give that opinion through a, this is the objective. If they ask for a 2-mark question, write it. 2-mark MCQ or whatever it is. He has to form an opinion. He has to give that opinion through a report. Khatam. Taken up. Then this is something which you have to mug. What is it? Whenever he wants to form an opinion, you remember that story? Auditor get appointed to do the audit. He performs audit procedures to obtain audit evidence regarding misstatements, and using all this audit evidence, he draws conclusions. On that conclusion, he'll give one opinion. That opinion will be on written report. Same thing over here. So they're telling over here ki whenever that auditor wants to form an opinion, these 3 things he must take into account. Whenever you're forming an opinion, auditor, whenever you're giving an opinion, these 3 things you must take into account. Without these 3 things, you cannot give an opinion. What are those 3 things? First, make sure that you have obtained. Without sai, can you give an opinion? Kya? Without sai, you have to obtain sai. Then, whether uncorrected misstatements are material, SA 450, SA 450. If you remember there are misstatements, we'll give those misstatements to the management. Management will rectify it. Sometimes they will not rectify all the misstatements. They will rectify only a few. What about the other? Those are considered to be uncorrected. Now in 450 would have learned that uncorrected misstatements, if they are material, we have to consider their impact also on the financial statements and on your auditor's report. Because if that uncorrected misstatement, if it is material, then you might have to change your opinion. Because that misstatement is still in the FS. Correct or not? Yeah. And last one, whatever audit findings, whatever evaluations you have made, that means drawing on conclusions of your audit evidence, all those evaluations also you have to consider. Will you mark this? Yes, just remember these 3 points. Size should be obtained, uncorrected misstatements are material, and last one, all the evaluations. Taken up. Then directly you can read this on your own. This is very simple. It's a mug question. I want to focus on the important part. This is also important. I mean, this is also mug part. Taken up. Evaluations. Directly come to here. This definition and all, don't read 1.5. Never ever read this. It is bullshit. Never ever read it. Unmodified opinion. When does an auditor give an unmodified opinion? When the financial statements are prepared in all material respects in accordance with the AFRAF. That means, can I tell he has considered, the auditor has concluded it, the financial statements are prepared in accordance with the AFRAF, and there is nothing wrong. There is nothing big wrong. So he will be giving an unmodified opinion. When do we get a modified opinion? We will not do this now. When we do SA 705, I'll come back again here and explain this. Taken. Auditor's report. Auditor's report. These are the, this is the entire form and content. This is the form of the auditor's report. Will you remember this? No. This is just for your reference. Taken. Most of this SA 700 is RMN only. It is not even bug. Taken. First, always there must be a title. What is the title? Independent auditor's report. Then addressee. That means to whom we are addressing. For company, it is generally shareholders, members, to the members or to the shareholders. Bas khatam. What will you mug in this? There is nothing mug. RMN. Move on. Auditor's opinion. This is mug. In that opinion paragraph, your first opinion paragraph, these 4 things or these 5 things you must state in your opinion paragraph. State matlab you must write as it is. First one, please always identify the entity whose financial statements have been audited. Identify the entity. Write down the entity's name. Taken up. then state it. What you have to state it? That the financial statements have been audited. If you open up a report, it will be written, we have audited the FS of Reliance Industries Limited. So that we have audited, no, it is stating no that we have audited it. Then identify the title of each statement comprising the financial statements. How many things are comprised in the financial statements? 5. Correct or not? 5. So you just have to mention that we have audited the balance sheet of this particular company, which is year ended 31st March, including P&L, cash flow, statement changes in equity, and summary notes to accounts. Correct or not? Refer to the notes also. Tell them, okay, we have given a summary of the accounting policies. I told you, generally the first notes to account of financial statements is the accounting policies. And last, specify always the period. Period matlab which year ka you did the audit. 31st March 2024. That you have to write it. Very simple 5 points. If the examination they ask, don't write it directly. You have to dance, then write. Take it. Then this is also important, very important. Why? See, whenever you are giving an opinion, your language matters a lot. Your language matters a lot because in modified opinion, your language changes. You cannot write it, it is giving a true and fair view always. Correct or not? So they have told whenever you're giving an unmodified opinion, there are 2 options available with the auditor. How many? 2 options. Either you write it that the financial statements are present fairly in all material aspects. Either use this words. If not, you can use the word gives a true and fair view. Either use this or use this. Will you mug this entire thing? Yes. Especially you just have to remember this line. This bold and block letter line is there, no? That you have to remember it. Either they can give present fairly or they can give true and fair. And last they have written the phrases present fairly and gives a true and fair view are regarded as being equivalent. Both are same only. Then one most important MCQ is hidden over here. See, whenever you're giving unmodified opinion, when do we give unmodified opinion? When we are satisfied. We are concluding that the financial statements are prepared in all material respects. We don't have any problem in the FS. You tell me, when do we use this word, something called as subject to? When do we use? Generally, I'm asking you, if I'm using in my sentence, when there is some problem, when there is some condition, subject to, or if I tell with the foregoing explanation, because of this, it is like this. When do we use all these kinds of phrases? When there is some problem. So, negative things, exactly, I wanted that point. There is something negative only when then we use these phrases, no? With the foregoing explanation, or we'll use it subject to. So, whenever you're using these, whenever you're giving an unmodified opinion, please don't use these kinds of phrases, because if you're using these kinds of phrases, it is showing some negative remark about the financial statements. If you have a negative remark, why did you give an unmodified opinion? Understood kya? So never use these kinds of phrases. So it is written, when the auditor expresses an unmodified opinion, please, auditor, it is not appropriate for you to use the phrases such as with the foregoing explanation or subject to in relation to the opinion. Like we are giving an unmodified opinion subject to this particular one. Array, there is some problem, no? That is why you written the word subject to. Then why did you give unmodified opinion? Don't give unmodified opinion. Understood kya? MCQ it is. Take care. Illustration bogus. Then comes basis for opinion, which is always the second paragraph of your auditor's report. You think and tell me, opinion, we just give the opinion. Opinion, we give the opinion. Okay? Unmodified opinion it is. Now, why did you give an unmodified opinion? Give the basis also for that. No? Why did you give a qualified opinion? Give the basis. Basis matlab reasons. On what basis you are giving unmodified opinion? On what basis you are giving a modified opinion? That is it. Basically, again, it's a mug question. You have to state these 4 sentences. State matlab you have to write it as it is. What is it? First, state that the audit was conducted in accordance with the standards on auditing. Write it whenever, and make sure, I forgot to tell you, essay 700 we are discussing it from only one opinion perspective. What is that? Unmodified opinion. These 4 points are common only when these 4 points are to be put when it is unmodified opinion. If it is modified opinion, in essay 705 we're going to learn there are a few changes to be done in the basis for opinion paragraph and also in the opinion paragraph. The languages and all will change. So this is on all for unmodified opinion. Yes. So whenever you're giving unmodified opinion, please state it what that you have conducted the audit as per the standards on auditing. Just state it. We have audited the financial statements of this company by following the standards on auditing. Second one, please refer to the section. Section matlab again I told you, section, heading, paragraph, all the same. Please just give a reference in the auditor's report where auditor's responsibilities have been described. Taken up. Include a statement that the auditor is. Just write it that I am an auditor. I was independent of the entity. I followed all the ethical requirements. And last one, state it whether the auditor has believed what that audit evidence which was required obtained by the auditor is SAI for the basis of auditor's opinion. State it that you have obtained all the relevant SAI on which your opinion is based. Understood kya? When do we write all these 4 points? When it is what kind of opinion? Unmodified. When you go for modified, it is not the same. There are a few changes to be made which are going to learn in essay 705. 5. Understood kya? Then again they have given this illustration. Going concern, being very honest. There's an entire essay 570. If they want to test, they will test it from essay 570. They are not going to test it over here. But not to take a chance, just put RMN. Just put RMN and come out. Take care. Key audit matters. Again, there is a full-fledged essay 701. They are not going to ask over here. So you can put RMN over here also. We are going to do it at essay 701. Other information, essay 720, it is not there in your syllabus. CA finals, they are not going to ask. Responsibilities of financial statements. Again, now the worst part, I would say a happy part. Already responsibilities of management is covered in your chapter 11. And responsibilities of auditor again covered in chapter 11. If you remember yesterday we did first day responsibilities of auditor. We did it in a box. Responsibility of auditor. And responsibility of management was like a point wise. What is the responsibility of management? First, preparation and presentation of FS. Design implementation of internal controls. And third one, those 3 rights. Correct or not? Yeah. And one more point which we are supposed to do, but it is a common point. Going concern we have not done. But essay 570, we are going to learn today the primary responsibility of checking whether going concern is appropriate or not is with whom? Management. So again, going concern, assumption appropriate irka illa, again that is decided by the management. So here they have discussed 3 responsibilities of management. How many? 3. Point number A and point number B. Point number A, they have discussed 2 points. What are those 2 points? Preparation, presentation of FS and internal controls. And point number B, they have discussed going concern. Will you mug this? I would give a big hand, not required, because chapter, or I would suggest you can just remember that going concern is also a part of management's responsibility. Rest everything you already know from chapter 11. You can write it on your own also. The response in the audit, they'll ask you a question. The auditor has made an auditor's report. Please explain or please write down what has to be put under the management's responsibility section. Just write this and come off. Understood kya? Then comes the rest, everything is RMN. This and all is RMN. Okay. Then comes auditor's responsibility. Now, if you see auditor's responsibility is divided into 3 phases. 3 phases. Phase number 1, phase number 2, phase number 3. Phase number 3, you put it as RMN. Okay, now. Actually, all the 3 phases you put it as RMN. You know why? I'll tell you why. Put RMN for all the 3 phases. Just remember the heading. See, what are the various responsibilities which, again, this can be asked as a question. Auditor made an auditor's report. What will be covered under auditor's responsibility section? You already know the answer. What is the first phase? First phase ka responsibility section mein what you're going to state? First, state the objectives. What objective? Essay 200. Write down what is essay 200. See, obtain reasonable assurance and issue auditor's report. It is copy paste of your essay 200 ka objective. Then just write it. Okay, we gave only reasonable assurance, which is a high level of assurance, but it is not a guarantee. And third one, write down misstatements can arise either due to fraud or error. Just write these 3 points. It is the same thing which you have already learned in your chapter 1, 11, 2, etc. Just write this much. Just remember the points. Objectives you have to write, reasonable assurance you have to write, misstatements can be either due to fraud or error. Rest you will write it. I know you will write it in proper language only because we have been doing this from chapter 1 to 11. Then comes the basic one, even more basic. Chapter 11 copy paste. Chapter 11 copy paste. What was the chapter 11? That box we did no box. That 5 responsibilities were there. What was the 5 responsibilities? First one, he is responsible to identify the misstatements either due to fraud or error. Then he is responsible to check the overall preparation, presentation, and the framework of the financial statements. 2 points. Third one, he has to check whether the internal controls which have been implemented by the management are effective and efficient, appropriate. Third point. Fourth point, the accounting policies which they have followed are appropriate in the given circumstances as per the AFRO. Fifth point, going concern, whatever they have made, again you're going to check whether the going concern is right or not. Same 5 points they have kept it over here. Copy paste 5 points. I would actually suggest chapter 11 it is huge points. If you see they have explained over here again, see those 5 points here. I would suggest you in chapter 11 you can put it as RMN. I mean skip. Just give a reference in chapter 11 in that page. Please refer page number 8.18. Take it and mug it from here. Understood? There all the points are very huge. All are like 6 lines or 7 lines. Here it is a little short. If you write this much, it is okay. Because I know, even if you read that, you're going to write this much on your income. Correct or not? So read this much. Other than this, what are the other 2 responsibilities that also you know? Don't you think it is auditor's responsibility to always use professional judgment? And second one, he always has to maintain professional skepticism. And last one, please, wherever there is a group audit, there is a separate responsibility. Group audit, SA 600. 600 using the work of another auditor. Branch will be there, joint ventures will be there, associates will be there. We're going to do that also. Why? Because what happens today, headquarters is here of Bharadwaj. Correct or not? One more branch is there in Bangalore. Okay, na? Here they have appointed me as the principal auditor of Bharadwaj Institute Private Limited. Correct or not? But the other branch is in somewhere in Jharkhand. So they have appointed some local auditor, local chartered accountant from Jharkhand, who is doing the audit of that particular branch. He will do the audit of that branch. He will make one branch audit report. He will submit that to me. I will consider it in my main auditor's report. So don't you think it is somewhere I have to state it in my auditor's report what? That branch audit I did not do. My responsibilities are restricted only to this particular branch. Understood? Kya? Users must, huh? Sorry? Yes, home paragraph. Yes, exactly. Home paragraph. Let me state this. Other matter paragraph. We are going to read the I'll tell. Understood? Kya? Just these 3 points, write it and come. This, if you're able to do it, else you can put it as skip also. What are the other more responsibilities of an auditor? Please state it in a auditor's report. State matlab write it in a statement that auditor communicates with the TCWG, the planned scope, timing, any significant audit findings, any significant deficiencies in internal control. Hey, don't you think it is auditor's responsibility that whatever he finds any misstatement or deficiencies, he must have to communicate with the TCWG. So write it. Okay, it is my responsibility. I'll communicate with the TCWG. Second one, state that the auditor provides TCWG with a statement that the auditor has complied with the relevant ethical requirements. Please write it in auditor's responsibility that I as an auditor have complied with all the ethical requirements including independence, and if there were any threats to my independence, I have eliminated those threats. I put those safeguards. See, the same word they have written. See, safeguards. And third one, key audit matters point, that wherever there are any key audit matters, I'm going to communicate those key audit matters also to the TCWG and the management. This is again an important question. 10th point. Take na. 10th point. What is it? You just now saw key. If you see, auditor's report is already bulky. What? Auditor's report is already bulky. In that, auditor's responsibility goes for so many pages. So they have told, instead of putting the entire auditor's responsibility in the main auditor's report, there are other 2 options also where you can put your auditor's responsibility. So there are 3 options basically. There are 3 options. See, they have written location of the description of the auditor's responsibility. There are 3 options. First one, you can put it within the body of within the body only. Second one, you can add an annexure, appendix. And third one, you can put it on some website. But give the reference of that website in your report. The www.this. Click on this, you will get us to the page where our responsibilities are put. Understood? So there are 3 options. Within the body, appendix, website. But you have to give a reference of that website. Understood? This entire thing, 11th point, put it as skip. 11th point, put it as skip. 12th RMN, 13th RMN, 14th mug. 12 RMN, 13 RMN, 14 mug. You guys are marking it now, shameless people. You didn't mark in the class. You, everybody. Question is not, question is already marked, I guess. Why do you do like that in my class? Okay, what is मत बोल RMN बोला था चलेगा skip RMN वो skip जैसा ही है ठीक है 12th one signature of the auditor. What should I explain this here? Whenever you have been appointed, you are making an auditor's report, the auditor has to sign it. It is the engagement partner who has to sign it. Engagement partner, if it is a firm, the firm is being appointed as the auditors, but who is the engagement partner? In my firm, Atishay, Rupesh, Yash, all 3 are not appointed as auditors, only Atishay. So Atishay has to sign it. Atishay MRN has to be put, MRN, membership registration number. And if it is a firm, definitely FRN also has to be mentioned. FRN, firm registration number. Understood? Kya? Then comes place of signature. It will come here only. Don't worry. Place of signature. Place of signature is basically the place where you sign the auditor's report. It is generally the location, which is ordinarily the city where the auditor's report is signed. Wherever you're signing it, that city you have to mention it. Then comes date of auditor's report. You think and tell me, can the auditor sign and date? There must always be a date of the auditor's report. On that date, you have signed it basically. You think and tell me, can the auditor date the auditor's report before obtaining sign? No. Only and only once you are satisfied that you have obtained sign, then you put the date and signature. Same thing they have put here also. Please sign it only once you have obtained all the sign. They have written no, all the statements that comprise the FS has been received by the auditor. Those with recognized authority have asserted that they have taken the responsibility for those FS. Only once you are ready with everything, then you put the date and signature. And there is also one more thing. Subsequent event 560. There are 3 subsequent events, Vikram, 3 subsequent events. What are those 3 subsequent events? Financial statement date to auditor's report date, post auditor's report date before the financial statements are issued, and third ones after the financial statement issued. If you remember, which we are going to do today, it is always the first subsequent event which we have to consider in our auditor's report. The other 2 When we read it in SA 560, it will be written, there is no obligation on the auditor to perform audit procedures for the other two subsequent events. For the first subsequent event, we have to consider it adjusting, non-adjusting events. Okay, na? So they have written this. UDIN, again, it's a mug question. It is very simple. What is UDIN? Any idea? Unique document identification number. The only reason behind bringing it is forgery. Anybody could forge the signature of a chartered accountant with the seal and signature. So that is why in February 2019 they made it effective. Okay, wherever auditor, either you're giving an audit report or you're giving some kind of certification where auditor is supposed to sign net worth certificate, taken all those certificates where we have to give, no, wherever certificates, that means you're certifying something. That means the moment you sign, the value of the paper increases. The wherever you're signing, certifying, taken a random documents, you cannot put signature, like ITR returns, income tax returns. Auditor is prohibited from signing income tax returns. Okay, now it is a self-basis income tax return. There you're not supposed to give a signature. So wherever you're certifying something or you're giving a report, you are supposed to generate a UDIN. It's an 18-digit alphanumeric number. 18-digit alphanumeric number. So wherever it is required that you're giving a report, assurance, or an opinion or a certification, that you have to generate the UDIN and you have to mention the UDIN in the report. Understood kya? Understood kya? The opposite person can again log into the UDIN and he can check whether what are the details which I have checked. Okay, now when you jump into practice, you'll get to know. See, like this, you have to generate the UDIN. Then this entire fourth skip. Entire fourth point skip. Then this entire page, right from 8.26, they have given a sample auditor's report. Do you think they're going to ask you for 4 marks entire auditor's report? Bullshit. Skip from here till the next 7-8 pages. They have given a sample. Never ever in ICA's history they have asked a question from it. With this, we are done with essay 700. Done kya?